Today we're going to talk about how there is only so much Bitcoin, and there are about 60 million millionaires in the world, and there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins. I'm going to explore with you who's going to get the Bitcoins, because there's more millionaires than there are Bitcoin. The numbers, Bitcoin's potential valuations in the global wealth ecosystem, and the race for absolute digital scarcity. Most millionaires don't even know what Bitcoin is, and they don't realize that they're going to need to get some if they intend on preserving their wealth. So in the United States, there's an estimated 22 to 24 million millionaires. A million times a million is a trillion. So that's about $24 trillion in terms of net worth. And of course, the United States has most millionaires than anywhere else in the world. It's estimated that about 40% of the millionaires globally reside in the United States. Only 7 or 8% of millionaires could own a single Bitcoin. Bitcoins are divisible by 100 million Satoshis. If only 7 or 8 millionaires could own a single Bitcoin, that's if it's evenly distributed across millionaires, including centimillionaires, hectomillionaires, and billionaires even. But of course, the wealthier someone is, compare someone who's ultra wealthy versus middle class, lower middle class, single digit millionaire. Their buying power is significantly greater. And so that means the distribution gets even more concentrated to those who are able to deploy their capital into Bitcoin. This could mean there will be an arms race for who can accumulate the most Bitcoin among the ultra wealthy. I do believe the ultra wealthy need Bitcoin in order to stay ultra wealthy. Another reason why us plebs should be learning about it together. Now, compare Bitcoin's market cap under 2 trillion, compare that to gold, where according to the World Gold Council, gold has a market cap of anywhere between 10 and 15 trillion dollars, and probably a lot more since we've seen an absolute rise in the value of gold recently. And so Bitcoin is a fraction of gold's market cap. And if Bitcoin were to match gold's market cap, then Bitcoin would be worth about 700,000 US dollars per coin. I think we're going there. If you look at the total global wealth, shout out to Jesse Myers, who put together this really interesting infographic of all of the global wealth assets, and it really goes to show how absolutely tiny Bitcoin is in the grand scheme of things. The value proposition is that Bitcoin, being absolute digital scarcity, gets a triple entry full audit approximately every 10 minutes when a block gets mined. There's nothing like that. If you look at gold, we don't even know how much gold is above ground. Somewhere between 10, 15, maybe close to $20 trillion worth of gold above ground. That's a huge margin of error. Yet I can tell you exactly how much Bitcoin exists, and I can tell you exactly how much it is worth at present valuation. Currently, there are 19.854 million Bitcoins in existence, and that is 94.54% of the 21 million supply cap already in existence. Us miners are competing to find the last less than 6% of the Bitcoin that will ever exist. The last Bitcoin that will be mined up to the year 2140, and it follows an asymptotic supply schedule where it becomes less and less every 4 years with the halving. It's the most competitive business known to man as hash power increases and as difficulty increases. So it's interesting to think there are about 60 million millionaires in Europe and Asia, and that equates to a lot of money that's going to be chasing Bitcoin. So let's recap. If there's 60 million millionaires in the world and you divide 60 million millionaires by 21 million Bitcoins, that would give you about 3 millionaires per Bitcoin. With lost coins, maybe there's 18 million Bitcoin that are actually movable. That means the ratios would rise to over 3 millionaires per Bitcoin. And the value proposition, of course, is that Bitcoin is liquid, it's fully transparent in the blockchain, it's auditable, there's final settlement that can be achieved within only a matter of a few minutes. You can transfer any amount of value globally within a few minutes and achieve final settlement. Currently, there's about a $50 billion daily throughput. That's how much value is being transferred on a daily basis at present on the Bitcoin network. That would be expected to go way up when more people are using the network. And in yesterday's video, I talked about congestion and how one American could not even send a single transaction per year because you can only process approximately 100 million transactions annually on the Bitcoin base layer. It can become very congested if people are actually trying to use Bitcoin. It would take a whole year for even less than a third of America to use the Bitcoin network just one time per year. It's interesting to put in perspective how much wealth there is in the world, and most of that wealth is being debased through inflation. Bitcoin represents an asset that can preserve value through true finite scarcity for theoretically forever. It's an interesting value proposition for most millionaires, most decamillionaires, centimillionaires, even billionaires, to be able to store value long term through space and time intergenerationally using this asset that presents new value, whereas no other asset has been able to achieve this. Not gold, real estate, equities, nothing has presented the same value proposition as Bitcoin. And obviously most wealthy people don't understand this technology. If you're watching this video, you're already ahead of the curve because you're already starting to learn things about Bitcoin. The purpose of this channel is to share some of what I'm learning and some insights about Bitcoin and also Bitcoin mining that would be very interesting to anyone that's looking to preserve wealth, create wealth, and get ahead of the information curve, because you can still get ahead of the curve and you can still have the upper hand against banks, institutions, the big smart money. You can actually get ahead of them when it comes to Bitcoin, because most millionaires have not done any real research into Bitcoin. They don't understand it. And there's a lot of wealth that will eventually be learning about this technology, and you can beat them to the punch and learn about it before they do, and also do your own research and deploy your capital in order to get exposure to Bitcoin to benefit you and your family before the big money consumes all of it, because there's a lot of fiat money and value in the world, and there's not a lot of Bitcoin. There's not a lot of Bitcoin at all. So smash sub, comment, let me know if you think that the millionaires are coming for your Bitcoin, if you have any, and whether or not you think Bitcoin can hit valuations in excess of $1 million. Peace, love, and Bitcoin. This is Colby, the Bitcoin Miner Plug, signing off.